And the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Tonight, two of the top teams in the state and in the Metro Detroit area square off in an Oakland Activities Association Red Division matchup. It's going to be a good one tonight because it's the West Bloomfield Lakers taking on the Oak Park Knights. I'm Alex Johnson, along with punter tonight, Aaron Johnson. And Aaron, it's been some crazy times over the last few months, but there's a lot of excitement in the air tonight because high school football is back.
No, Alex, you're 100% right. There's a lot of excitement in the air, not just because two amazing teams throughout the last few seasons are playing against one another here today in what should be an excellent matchup, but there's a lot of excitement just because there's football. You know, I mean, a few weeks ago, there wasn't high school football, so for us to be here now today and to have this great matchup, it's phenomenal. That's why there's so many people excited that this season is able to happen. Even if they're not able to fill in the stands, you know that everyone is ready for Michigan High School Athletic Association football.
Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. Both teams are getting ready for the opening kickoff. It looks like Oak Park is going to be kicking this off. Now it's West Bloomfield won the opening toss. They've elected to receive, so they want to get the ball first.
This West Bloomfield team, incredibly talented. Alex, they're ranked number 5 in the state by Max Prep, so they're coming in with incredibly high expectations this season with a juggernaut offense and a very sound defense to back up that offense.
Darnell Boone's going to kick it off here for the Knights, and the season is officially underway. It's a short kick to start, right at around the 50-yard line. Kind of like a short kick picked up there by Jalen King. So right at midfield comes the Laker offense, led by their quarterback, Alex Short.
Yeah, this is going to be a very good matchup between these two teams. A lot of talent on both sides of the ball, a lot of high-level football players that will go on to play Division I football. We'll see how this game gets started here. Is West Bloomfield going to be able to strike first?
Good field position to start. They're going to hand it off to the running back, Dylan Tatum. He has some space at the 40 on the right side, going to the 30, down to the 20. He gets inside the 20, right around the 15-yard line. Nice run there by Dylan Tatum to start off the game.
Yeah, and you wouldn't expect anything less from him, Alex. He's an incredibly talented player that, you know, has to work in touches alongside a very talented backfield member in Donovan Edwards, but Tatum in his own regards is a highly sought after running back and a defensive prospect recruit.
He's going to keep it this time. Short has open space. He's going to get it into the end zone, and just like that, on the second play of the game, the Lakers have a touchdown. Short on the carry.
Would have expected in this game. I think both of us would have expected this to be, you know, a defensive battle.
16 yards on the run.
Last year they faced off against each other to begin this season.
It was a
low scoring
extra
affair,
point.
20-14 in favor of the Lakers, but a quick score for West Bloomfield, and you couldn't ask for anything more from them.
It's going to be Jake Ward, the senior, going to attempt the extra point for the Lakers. It's going to get a good snap, good hold. The kick is away, and it's no good.
With 11:43,
Doing so in a very quick manner. They're going to be happy with that drive, even if they're not able to get that extra point to count on. An explosive start for the offense between Short gets that nice long run right at about the 50-yard line to get all the way inside the 20. I mean, just an incredible start for them. And now it's their turn for the defense, the very talented defense of the Lakers, to go up against that Oak Park offense that is certainly looking to kind of do exactly what West Bloomfield just did on their first offensive drive.
So Oak Park is looking to respond here. We'll see their offense coming out.
And this is, you know, a season for Oak Park where they're definitely going to want to get a little bit of vengeance or revenge after losing in the pre-districts last year, 12-6 to Farmington. You know, to go 8-2 and to lose so early in the postseason, that's not what they were satisfied with whatsoever. So
Ron Green back to receive the kick for the
perform at a
Knights.
higher level, compared to their last time that they were on the field.
Jake Ward is going to kick it off here. Back to return for the Knights is senior Devon Gray. He's back inside the 5. Hopefully he can get a good kick. We'll kick this one off. Right at about the 17-yard line. And he gets swarmed down by a bunch of Lakers on that one. That was Amari Harris on the return.
Ball is down at the 15-yard line. First down and 10. Rush at the 20-yard line.
Now here come the Knights here on offense, led by their quarterback, senior James Bundley. He's going to have it at about the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Going to bring it off to one of the excellent running backs in the state, Devon Prim. Gets a short gain on the left
No
side.
gain on the play. Second down.
Maybe a yard on that.
Yeah, Prim is absolutely one of the most talented running backs in the state, Alex, and had a great season last year for Oak Park. He's looking to continue that into this year. I mean, obviously going to be the vocal point of their offense. There's no question about that. So they're going to be handing the ball off to him a lot tonight.
So it's 2nd down and 10. A minute into this contest, 6-0 lead for the Lakers to start. Here comes Harris on the reception there. Gets brought down by the Lakers that time. That was Jordan Haskins who made the tackle.
Amari Harris on the reception. Pick up a 4 on the play. Brings up
This is
3rd
good.
down and 6.
3rd down and 6.
Yeah,
Haskins.
we'll see the philosophy that Oak Park brings into this 3rd down. Are they going to be aggressive and try to throw the ball, or are they going to try to hand it off to Prim and let him do the work that he's so capable of doing, as he's shown throughout his career here at Oak Park?
They got 4 wide receivers out, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Bundley's going to throw it here on 3rd and 6. Has a lot of pressure, and he goes down for a sack on the play. Led by the defensive end, senior Chris Johnson. He led that attack, and it's 3 and out for the Knights.
Yeah, and Bundley rolled out. It looked like he was looking for Glennie Cross on the outside to his right, but just took too long with the ball, and eventually that Laker line was able to get to him and bring him down.
Unfortunately for the Knights, they'll have to punt this one away, not the start they were looking for. So Amari Harris will send this one back. Donovan Edwards, one of the top running backs in the state. He's back to return for the Lakers.
Yeah, I think you're underselling him a little bit. He's not only one of the top running backs in the state, he's one of the top running backs in the country.
Kickers put it down the midfield, picked up by Edwards. He's going to try to create some space for himself. Gets a couple of tackles, breaks through a couple before it gets knocked down, maybe lost a couple yards, and we have our first flag of the game.
Yeah, and Edwards was grabbing at his mask, looking at the referees. He was looking for a face mask call, and as the flags fly, that he may get just that.
Face mask on the kicking team.
It'll be 15 yards added to the end of the play.
Edwards is quite a player, ranked 36th in the country, the 3rd best running back in the nation, and 247 Sports ranks him as the 2nd best player in the state. He's a 4-star running back, has, well, just 46 offers, you know, their usual, with schools like Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan State, the University of Michigan, and LSU, all chasing this dominant backfield member.
He's going to be a key piece in the backfield for anyone who grabs him. Here comes first and 10. Short has it again. Going to keep this one. That's what we're going to see a lot from Short here tonight. He's a dual threat guy. He has a strong arm, and he can also keep it for himself. Get you a couple yards like he did on the last possession where he took it all the way to the house.
Well, that's the nice thing about this West Bloomfield offense is you have a quarterback that can run the ball, and then you have two incredibly talented running backs, and Edwards and Tatum that you can hand it off to. So it's tough to bring these guys down when they can run different options and have so many different guys that they can hand it off to.
Second down at 5. Here's Edwards' first touch. He gets a goal run past the first down marker down the middle. Looked like he was swarmed in there, tackled by defensive back, the junior Ryan Ramsey on the play.
Yeah, he took down one of the officials with him. That's how hard it is to bring down Edwards. It's going to be a swarm, and unfortunately for the referee, he's brought down in that chaos, but looks to be okay.
Put him on about the 22-yard line. It was a good game of 15 on the play by Edwards. It's going to be first down. Short's going to keep it again on the right side before he gets pushed out of bounds by number 23, Emmanuel Hall, the senior defensive back.
Short on the carry. Pick up 3 on the play.
And if you're West Bloomfield, obviously they haven't passed the ball, but you do all of this running and you have all these different options running the ball. When you decide to pass the ball, it's going to catch the defense off guard. You know, when you run it, that one time you pass, that's what's working right now for this West Bloomfield team is that run is working, but they're going to be able to go to the pass when necessary.
They're going to give it to Edwards this time. He's going down the right side. They're going to push him out. Leading that way, Emmanuel Hall.
Out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Led that. Just trying not to give him much space to the middle. It's the Oak Park defense.
3rd and 3 at the 15-yard line.
3rd and 3 at the 15 after a gain of 4 on the play by Edwards. And we're about 8 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. And Short gets knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Short on the carry.
And we'll see what West Bloomfield does here.
Yeah, he decided to keep it himself and tried to go up the middle, but was met with by a pack of Oak Park defensive linemen and brought down there as the Lakers not able to convert on 3rd down.
It's not looking like they're going to bring the field goal unit out here. It's 4th and about 5 from the 17. They're going to go for it here. Looks like Short. He's going to keep it this time. Is he going to have enough? He went down the side there.
We'll see where they mark him.
On the right side,
Short on the carry.
the far right side. And they're going to say first down.
That results in a
Yeah, that was close.
first down.
No doubt about it. They're going to move those chains, and the offense for the Lakers is going to be able to stay on the field as they inch closer and closer to being able to add on to their early lead.
Up 6-0 here with 7:25 to go in the opening quarter. Scored on the second play of the game with a 15-yard run by their quarterback, Alex Short. Edwards going to the left side this time, breaks a couple of tackles, has some space. He's down at around the 7 before he gets pushed out of bounds by Amari Harris.
Ran out of bounds by Harris. Will bring up 2nd down.
In this Laker offense, I think what we've seen from them is they've had more success running the ball to the outside rather than trying to go up the middle. I mean, you have that first run of the game by Tatum, and then you get Edwards there on the outside. They're getting more yards by taking the ball to the outside rather than trying to go up the gut of that Oak Park line.
We'll see if Short is going to pass it here. Hasn't thrown the ball yet. 2nd down. Going to run it this time again. Going up the middle towards the right side.
Short on the carry. Pick up 5 on the play.
That was Keyshawn Jackson who brought him down. And it's going to be 3rd down. And about 4 from the 6. Short has Edwards to the back. Going to run it again this time. We'll see if he can push it through. He might be short. Short of the goal line, but I think it's going to be first and goal.
Yeah, he's going to be down at the 1 here.
Pick up a 4 to play.
So West Bloomfield's going to have a full set of downs to get 1 yard, and you'd have to say that's pretty good odds for this kind of team with this many talented players that can run the ball.
It's going to be first and goal at about the 4-yard line. Edwards is going to keep it himself. Going to put it into the end zone, run it in, and it's a touchdown for the Lakers.
Short for the touchdown. 1 yard on the
And that was just all too easy for West Bloomfield. I mean, just they faced that 1 4th down situation, but it was clear that they were in the driver's seat that possession, running the ball every single play. No need to pass it between Short and between Edwards. Those two guys, just a dynamic duo right now for the Lakers as they're getting the job done, and they're able to stretch their lead out here to 2 possessions.
Donovan Edwards took it. He gets his first touchdown of the season. And Jake Ward looking to make this extra point after missing it, after missing his first attempt. Gets a good hold. The kick is up. And this time it's good right through. And it's a 13-0 lead for the West Bloomfield Lakers over the Oak Park Knights at almost a halfway point of this first quarter.
Yeah, and Edwards continues his dominant performance against Oak Park. Going back to last year when they met in the season opener, he had 2 touchdown carries for 105 yards on the day, and he's continued that here 1 year later, a season later. He's had a phenomenal start where he's running the ball with ease, and he gets another touchdown, his first touchdown of this year, as West Bloomfield has had a phenomenal start, Alex. Oak Park has got to start getting it going here if they're going to stay in this game. Not that they're out of this game right now, but they would like to put some points up on the board. Don't want to let West Bloomfield get the ball back without scoring, as they're 2 for 2 when it comes to scoring on their drive. So Oak Park going to need to get something going here on the offensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't even thrown the ball yet, which is something they can. That Short also has the ability to do. This long excellent arm he has. So it's been a good running game so far, especially by Short and Edwards and Tatum as well. So Ward is going to kick this one off. Gray is back for the Knights. This one is caught at about the 7. He's trying to get some space. He's at the 20. Breaks through a couple of tackles. Maxwell Harrison, number 22 of the Lakers, could not get him down behind the back. And something else to mention, Aaron, with the delayed start of the season, you usually would have some time to go over some plays and 7-on-7 scrimmages, trying to figure out the playbook, trying to figure out some things, what worked well, what didn't. But without those practices and scrimmages with the season just starting up very quickly, sometimes it's really hard for teams just to adjust.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be, I think for a lot of teams, these first couple weeks are going to be a real adjustment period for them. Figuring out new offenses, new schemes, new defenses. I mean, how many of these programs have new coaches and have graduated a lot of players, are bringing in a lot of players up from maybe their freshman or JV programs? I mean, it's going to take some time.
Here on the play is Bunley. Gets a few yards on that play. The West Bloomfield defense was very stellar last season. Averaged under 13 points a game last season. Tells you a lot. Also averaged about 32 points as well for the Lakers. Now Oak Park has its second down. At about 7. Formation here And looks like some movement at the line. It's going to be false start on the Knights.
False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty.
And that's going to move them back.
And not what you want if you're Oak Park is you're trying to get back into this game down 2 possessions in the first quarter. I mean, there's still plenty of time, but you want to avoid making mistakes by yourself. You know, let the other team make mistakes. Don't let you be the team to make mistakes. And we'll see if Oak Park is able to clean that up here on this drive now.
That's good. Second down and 14. Bunley has it. He's going to the left side. Has some space. Looking to get through before he gets knocked down on the play by B.J. Rankin. Number 21 of the Lakers.
Pick up a 5 on the play. Brings up 3rd down.
He's the junior defensive back. And about 3rd down and about 12 for the Knights coming up. 13-0 lead for West Bloomfield.
Yeah, and if you're head coach Greg Carter of Oak Park, you need more out of your offensive line right now as they try to get their offense going. The line's got to do a better job of providing time for the quarterback to be able to make his play and make his run. Is when you're facing pressure, just a second after the snap, you're not going to be able to gain positive yards.
Need to get to the 34-yard line for a first down. And another flag on the field. And it looks like it's going to be another false start for the Knights on back-to-back plays. And now you're going to be looking at like 3rd and 18. Oak Park played in the Oakland Activities Association White Division last year. Got moved up to the Red this year after some very excellent seasons for them the last few years. Were winners of the OAA White last year.
3rd down and 18.
It's 3rd and long here. Bunley quickly has to throw, and it's dropped by Harris. Amari Harris cannot hold on to that one, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, and again there it's the same situation where Bunley doesn't have a lot of time to make a decision because he's got 3-4 linemen of the Lakers going right at him. And even there, you know, he's doing a short slant pass just to gain, you know, maybe 5 or 6 yards, but they needed to get 18 anyway, so he didn't even have time to really let the routes even play out. He just had to try to get rid of the ball so he wasn't hit for a negative loss of yards.
Harris to punt this ball away. Tatum and Edwards are back for the Lakers. Short kick. West Bloomfield's going to let this one move up a little bit. And good field position once again coming up for the Lakers at the 41-yard line.
1st down and 10, Lakers.
You're never going to turn down the opportunity to already start on the defensive side of the field. If you're West Bloomfield, this is prime territory to begin your drive on, your 3rd drive of the day. You're them, you know, you're confident. You scored on both of your drives to open up this game, and this is just another opportunity for you to extend the lead.
13-0 lead to start for the Lakers. And they'll have it at Oak Park's 41-yard line. Short. He's going to decide to throw the ball here. He's trying to throw it down deep, and it's too far to his intended target on that play. And there was a flag in the back. looking for DeAndre Hill, the sophomore wide receiver.
Yeah, and Short had an opportunity to hit Hill there, who had gotten past the two defenders of Oak Park, but just put it too far out in front of him. But that's what you're talking about. When you run the ball so many times, the defense is expecting you to continue to run the ball. So that time you decide to throw it, you caught them off guard, and that could have been another quick score for the Lakers.
I think there was a personal foul called on the Lakers as there was an injured Knight on the field. So it looks like it's going to be a 15-yard penalty and a loss of down for the Lakers.
I believe it's a member of the Oak Park defense that is down, but you see Edwards of West Bloomfield down next to him looking on. Obviously, you hope the young man is all right. He's able to shake this off as quickly as possible.
They're still looking at him at this point. So looking at how this game has started so far, West Bloomfield got on the board first on their second play of the game, 15-yard run by Alex Short. And then on their last possession, it was a 5-yard touchdown into the house by Donovan Edwards.
It's been an on-the-ground assault so far for the Lakers on this brisk evening, but they've done a phenomenal job of quick possessions getting to the end zone. And this is a team that, they're ranked highly once again this year, and as you would expect, they're backing up that ranking. They just look like a well-oiled machine, which, again, was not something that you would expect with a quick start to the season after it had been postponed. And, they look like a very, very scary team right now.
Took a look at that injured player for the Knights. That was Eric Allison, junior defensive lineman, coming off the field on his own power.
Yeah, it's always good when, a player, it's never good that they get hurt, but if they're able to walk out off the field on their own power, that is a positive to look at the situation. So hopefully he's all right, and if we're lucky, we'll be able to see him again back out on the field tonight.
3 minutes to go here in this opening quarter. Short trying to throw it over to his left side. Emmanuel Mitchell could not get to that one. It was kind of short for him to get.
Yeah, Short just kind of threw that one too far behind on that play. You always want to put it in the chest. You're trying to lead your receiver. Not really in that kind of a play where he's coming back, but you can't throw it behind him. You at least got to get it to the chest.
So it's 3rd down and 25 here for West Bloomfield. 2:58 to go. Have a 13-0 advantage over Oak Park here. Short decides to give it to Edwards. Gets a few yards on the play before he gets knocked down. On that play, that was Darnell Boone.
Yeah, you have an animated Oak Park sideline right now as they force a 4th down and long for the Lakers. This is, obviously the first time they've been able to stop them really in this game, and that's a win. There's still plenty of time left in this game for Oak Park, and right there, that's the first step for them to be able to get back in this game. It started with the defense being able to get a stop, and that's what they just did right there.
Sammy Lafata, the senior punter, is going to boot this one away. Back to return, Bawana Miller, as well as Javion Jennings for the Knights. And the play clock will run down as much as they can. This one is going to bounce all the way towards the 15-yard line. That one is picked up by Jennings.
We had a flag thrown down.
We'll see what it is.
I think they're going to get a face mask on West Bloomfield here.
He was all alone on that play, so it is going to be on West Bloomfield for a face mask. be added to the end of the run. We'll see what Oak Park can do here. Hopefully they can get on the board here. Minute 45 to go here in this opening quarter here on the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Glad to have you with us here on this beautiful Friday night here in downtown Oak Park. Bunley's back. He's going to give it over to Prim on that play. But Prim is picked up very quickly.
Yeah, and there was Amari Harris coming over and bringing him down for the loss.
14 at the 16-yard line.
So it's going to be second down here.
Excuse me, that was Jordan Hoskins of West Bloomfield with the tackle there. This Oak Park offense now back out on the field. Their defense did their job. To get this turnaround going, you're going to need to see the offense start to get some positive yardage.
Last minute to go here in this first quarter. Bunley looking over to his left side. That one's going to be caught by Prim. He gets about 4 or 5 yards as he's picked up at about the 20-yard line, brought down. And it's going to be third down.
Park looking at a big 3rd and 9 here. Could be the last play of the first quarter.
Yeah, it's under 30 seconds. Get a 40-second play clock to work with. We'll see if they can get this off. Third down and 9 here. Bunley gets it off with 4 seconds. Going to throw it deep downfield, and it is going to be intercepted by Maxwell Harrison. Maxwell Harrison takes it away for the Lakers as the first quarter comes to an end.
And Oak Park took their chance right there, went for the deep pass, but Harrison did a great job reading that. And if I recall, that's the same play that Oak Park was trying to run before they picked up a flag, a offensive possession to go that discontinued the play. But they ran that same play there, and Harrison snuffing that out, sticking with the long ball threat, and got up in the air and made a great snatch to just seize any momentum that was just maybe starting to build for the Oak Park team. A great job if you're the Lakers to squander that and regain the momentum as they hold control of this one heading into the second quarter, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. This broadcast is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press, your flagship destination for sports in Michigan. The Free Press has launched a new digital subscription model, which gives you high school sports fans access to Mike McCabe's weekly columns, rankings, and predictions. Your support will help the Free Press stream high school football games all season long. And today, it only costs $1 for 3 months. Again, that's $1 for 3 months. Subscribe today at freep.com. Ready to start the second quarter as both teams switch sides here, 1st and 10. Here comes Dylan Tatum. He's at the 40-yard line. He's going to be brought down by Darnell Boone.
Tatum on a carry.
And he had a good run to start the game.
Yeah, it's that same play design. It's, that sweep run, and he's able to get out, starts on one side of the field or one side of the offense, comes on over to the other, is able to hit the outside, and that big, burly offensive line of the Lakers does a really nice job giving him space and giving him time to get a full head of steam and get downhill.
The formation here. Here comes Tatum again. Left side, he's at the 30 before he gets tripped up. Looked like that's going to be Darnell Boone once again. But another strong run by Tatum, and he's a great piece to coincide with Edwards in the backfield.
Yeah, no doubt. Tatum, Edwards gets a lot of the national hype, but Tatum has become quite the player himself. And, you look at what he's done, the offers that he has been able to bring together. He has 31 offers. He's got schools like Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, all these big-name schools chasing after his talent.
Short going to bring it up the field before he gets knocked down on the play. That was Corey Alford as well as Dion Burkett making the tackle.
And one other thing about Tatum is he's an athlete. He doesn't just play one side of the ball. He'll get out as a defensive back on the defensive side, and he'll make plays. You know, he is a dual threat in the sense that he can play both sides of the ball. Coaches love that. Programs love that. And Tatum continuing to show how talented he is, as you would expect.
Second and 4 at the 20-yard line. Short. Keeping it for himself. Brought down by Amari Harris. And he might be just short of the first down. We're going to mark it 3rd and 1. Yeah, I think so. 3rd and 1 at the 17. Ten minutes to go here in this first half. 13-0 lead for West Bloomfield over Oak Park here in our Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Short's going to hand it off to Edwards. Boone brings him down, as well as Marlon Dawson, the senior defensive end.
Tatum on a carry results in a first down.
It's a short game, but it's enough to move the chains.
1st and 10 at the 13-yard line.
There's a gain of 4 on the play.
Yeah, and that's what, you know, that's been the consistent type of yardage for the Lakers when they try to run it up the middle. They're getting 3, 4, 5 yards, but, you know, when they go to the outside, that's when they're able to get their big runs. But they have that ability just to run it up the gut, get 3, 4, 5 yards every time. They're going to get those chains moving.
Short brought down at the line of scrimmage by Dawson. Oak Park celebrating on that line there. Looks like Short is down on the field. They were celebrating if there was a fumble on the play, but he held on to the ball. But Short is down on the ground right now. He has been the leader so far. And hopefully he is okay. He's going to walk off the field. He just took a hard hit to the ground.
Yeah, he went up the middle of that Oak Park line, and they met him there. And, you know, it wasn't just a tackle. It was a big, you know, throw to bring him down. And that's a loss that is going to really affect West Bloomfield. Obviously, you hope he's okay and Short's able to return to this game soon.
Now, Donovan Edwards is going to take over the quarterback spot here. He's going to be calling the plays. He's going to keep it for himself. He faked out giving it to Tatum, and he's going all the way to the end zone on the left side at a clear opening, and he has his second touchdown of the day.
I guess that's why he's so good, because he fooled me too. I thought he was sending it off to Tatum. I kept my eyes on number 5, and all of a sudden I saw myself react just as a defensive. They were like, oh, the other guy's got the ball. Is Edwards able to get left side on the outside and just waltz into the end zone?
With 9:22 to go here in this first half. And West Bloomfield making a statement right now, early on in this game, as Ward is about to kick the extra point. Goes up and it's good. 20-0 lead for West Bloomfield over the Knights of Oak Park.
And this is a West Bloomfield team that, you know, obviously they've lost some players, but they bring back a lot of their top talent that, you know, went very deep into the playoffs last year as they ended up losing to Belleville, another powerhouse program here in the state of Michigan, but 10-2 last season, losing in the regional finals. This is a program that feels that they have just as much talent as last year, if not more, to where they can come back this season and they can be a top team once again and get past the regionals to that state championship. This is a program that knows very well what they're capable of. You look at what head coach Ron Bellamy has done over at West Bloomfield, and he doesn't lose ball games. He's a winner, and he has made that program one of the top consistent programs in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, he's a really well-talented coach, well-respected throughout the entire state. He's done a good job to this point, leading the way for this Lakers team. And Jake Ward's going to kick this off once again. And this one's going to go into the end zone for a touchback. And the Knights will come out on the field once again. Just want to talk about briefly before the Knights get back on the field. There were a lot of key games there that were happening last night to open up the 2020 season. A few that come to my mind: Orchard Lake St. Mary's winning 28-7 over Walled Lake Western out at Orchard Lake. And then Stony Creek took down Birmingham Seaholm 37-6. Seaholm was a Division II Final Four finalist last year. That's kind of surprising. That was a kind of surprising game for Stony Creek to take that one over Seaholm.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And obviously, the Catholic League, always one of the toughest leagues to play in. So St. Mary's off to a strong start this year. That's going to be a very interesting division to watch play out this year. Obviously, with St. Mary's and Catholic Central, Brother Rice is going to be talented, and De La Salle with a new head coach.
Comes Davion Prim, brings it up right down the heart of the field before a swarm of Lakers get to him. Also got a lot of key games tonight around the state, the Metro Detroit area and beyond. We'll get more into that in just a second. But second down and 2 at the 28. Nice 8-yard pickup by Prim. Bunley fumbled the ball, gets it back up. Able to recover it in time.
Yeah, Bunley is lucky because he decided to keep it on the option there and he lost it, but he's lucky because the bounce, it just hit the ground right where it bounced right back up and into his hands while he was continuing in stride, and he's able to hold on to possession.
They don't want to turn the ball back over. They already have one turnover today. That was when Bunley threw the interception to Maxwell Harrison to end the first quarter. So 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line, at their own 33, going right to left. Handing it off to Prim. Before he gets knocked down, ball's loose, but the play is already called dead. Jaden Green, the defensive tackle, and a late flag is thrown.
Yeah, that was B.J. Rankin of West Bloomfield, who was mixing it up with a couple members of that Oak Park offense.
And they're calling unsportsmanlike conduct on both teams, so those penalties will offset and will replay.
It looked like Rankin was getting into it with James Blaylock, a wide receiver for Oak Park. But I think an underlying storyline in this game is just how well the defense of West Bloomfield has done against Davion Prim. I mean, they have really limited his ability to get out in space and make plays.
Second down here. Bunley trying to throw it over to Harris, but the pass is incomplete as it goes out of bounds. And it's going up third down now. 7:40 to go here in this second quarter. West Bloomfield up 20-0 here in this one so far. West Bloomfield ranked one of the top teams in the state and in the Division I. Oak Park playing in Division II when the playoffs come around in late October.
And again, an important third down. 11 yards to the first down marker.
And our first timeout of the game will be called by Coach Greg Cutter of Oak Park.
And he's recognizing the importance of this third down here as you're already down 20-0. Still a lot of time left here in the second quarter. You don't want to give the ball up without scoring. You know, he's trying to find a way to extend this offensive drive for his team. And so this is an important timeout for him to talk it over, really make sure everyone understands what they need to execute on here to get these 10 and 11 yards so that this drive can continue for them.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do here on this third down. Just going over how things have been drawn out here for this high school football season with limited fans everywhere across the state of Michigan, with some teams allowing two guests for each player to come out to the games.
Yeah, no fans here at this game here this evening. Not how everyone wants football to be played. Everyone would love a big stadium. I mean, everyone, every high school player, enjoys, dreams about the packed stadium under Friday night lights of high school football. That's certainly an aspect of the game that is going to be missed in games like these where there's, not even some fans, there's no fans.
Third down, flag is called. It looked like Prim was on the play. He was dropped in the backfield for a loss. We'll see what the call is here. And 12 men on the field called for Oak Park. West Bloomfield is going to decline the penalty, and the result of the play will be fourth down.
And if you're Oak Park, that's inexcusable. You're coming out of the timeout, and you get a 12 men on the field penalty. You just can't have something like that happen, especially right out of a timeout on a big third down play. That's one of those mistakes that you can point to and say, these are the reasons why we lost. And we're starting to see penalties pile up in this game, which is something that played a factor in last year's game. There was a ton of flags, a lot of stoppages of play because of those flags, and now they're starting to pile on here. And when you're Oak Park and they're going against you and you're already down 3 possessions.
And they're going to fake this one out. Harris is going to be dropped down on the play. That was the linebacker Kyle Johnson, who wasn't fooled. I think they just wanted to do something to get the defense off balance.
They tried to sneak one past West Bloomfield there, and maybe it's because they thought they could get through with it. Maybe it's because they didn't trust the kicking team, but nonetheless, it doesn't work. And now West Bloomfield, who inside the 20 at the 18-yard line, they're just a couple runs away from breaking into the end zone.
So Short is back out on the field after coming off on the last drive. Glad to have him back. You're the Lakers. Getting his first touch up today is the junior running back Malik Mafea on the play.
Yeah, you got to be talented to get a touch in that backfield with Edwards and Tatum already back there. But also, if you're West Bloomfield, you look at this game and you say, well, you've already put up 20 points. Clock's ticking here in the second quarter. This is an opportunity for maybe you get some other guys some early looks here in the season, see what they're capable of. Is you didn't have those 7-on-7 scrimmages and those inter-squad scrimmages to really kind of see some of these other guys on the team that you maybe didn't know about.
Here comes DJ Pryor getting his first touch.
Pryor on a carry.
And a flag called once again. We've seen a lot of laundry on the field over these last few minutes.
That's going to be on Edwards for a late hit as he hit an Oak Park player out of bounds after the play was over.
It was over by the West Bloomfield bench, far left side of where we are. It happened after the play, so the down will not be replayed. And that will be called on Edwards, like you said.
Foul on the offense, 15-yard penalty.
And now it's starting to feel a little bit more like the meeting between these two teams last year, where just all these different kinds of penalties start to occur and they add up.
Yeah, they put him out of field goal range, but here comes Short looking to get most of those yards back. He's down at about the 21-yard line.
He got past the original line of scrimmage, so that 15-yard penalty really didn't do all too much.
And we'll see if they bring the field goal unit out, and it looks like they will. Ward is going to have it fourth down at the 23-yard line, so this is going to be about a 40-yard kick for Ward.
Lakers will attempt the field goal attempt.
Going on the left side. Clock under 5.5 minutes. Looking to add on to this lead for the Lakers. Gets a good kick on it. It's up. And it's just through on that right side. Able to get that one in there. Nice range there by Ward. And that 40-yard field goal makes it a 23-0 lead.
Yeah, Ward making up for that missed extra point on their first score of the game for West Bloomfield is able to get another 3 points. And even when they're not scoring touchdowns, this West Bloomfield offense still finding ways to produce points. This has just been a very stellar and convincing performance for them. If anyone was doubting that this team was going to come out and look just as good as they did last year, they're certainly proving them wrong. This offense, high octane, fast pace, attack you on the ground. They've done a phenomenal job, and the defense has been an absolute stalwart for that Oak Park offense.
Those are a lot of components, a lot of keys that get you success. Your offense is rolling, your defense is helping you out as well, making the key plays. That's why West Bloomfield has this lead right now, but still a lot of time for Oak Park to get back in this game. They're still a very talented team as well, and we'll see what they can do. This one is dropped in the back of the end zone. It was out of the hands of Bawana Miller. And it's going to be first and 10 at the 20 for the Knights.
And Oak Park still awaiting their first score of this game with 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. We'll see if they're able to break through that barrier. They haven't had much success in that regard. The defense, and especially that line for the Lakers, has done a really good job limiting Bundley and really getting to Davion Prim in the backfield. And certainly if you are Coach Carter, you need more out of your offensive line. You need more protection for your quarterback and for your running back. If they're going to be able to produce any positive yards, you need the line to hold their ground and keep the Lakers from getting to the backfield so soon.
Bundley known for his pro-style kind of play. Able to throw it down the field and able to use his running speed as a backup option as well, similar to the dual threat. He's getting it over to Prim, and Prim, he's had a tough time. Hasn't had that huge run he's been looking for in this game so far. And that's because, like you said, the West Bloomfield defensive line is not giving him any openings.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Prim, you're not even really touching the ball before the defensive line is already broken through and is wrapping him up as soon as he's getting possession of the ball. So, you know, as much as you need him to produce, he's going to need some help if Oak Park is going to turn this around.
Looks like one of the Lakers, Evan Bunch, for them, is limping off the field. Got some other key games going around the state here tonight. A lot of marquee games to start up this 2020 season. Another OAA Red game, Clarkson out at Southfield to take on Southfield A&T. Out of Macomb County, Macomb, Dakota, Clinton Township, Chippewa Valley, as well as Utica Eisenhower and Sterling Heights Stevenson. Two teams in the Macomb Area Conference Red Division. As there was some miscommunication at the line by the Knights, caused a collision there and a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, Prim just ran into Bundley there and took him down himself. It's hard enough when you really can't get anything going and your line is struggling to provide timing and spacing, but when you make a mistake like that to yourselves, that's, you know, those kind of things stick with you when they sting a little bit harder in games like this.
23-0 lead for the Lakers. Oak Park. Needs to convert here on third down. Bunley throws it and it's dropped by Corey Alford out of his hands on his right palm.
Yeah, Alford was wide open, had some space to work with as well. That one maybe just started breaking free for the run before he had possession of the ball and wasn't able to hold on to it.
It's unfortunate when you have it in your hands and then it goes out of it just a second after you start making that play, start making that move, and just unfortunate for Oak Park. And now Harris is going to send this one back to Edwards, who's at the Oak Park 45. This one goes all the way to the backfield, all the way back to the back of the end zone, I should say, and it's going to be a safety.
So another mistake by Oak Park, and it results in a safety. And now West Bloomfield's going to get the ball back.
It's going to be a free kick coming up.
This has been a chaotic half for Oak Park, and you know they've certainly made some mistakes, which is again what you would anticipate in a game like this. But when you're going up against as sound of a program as West Bloomfield, these kind of performances just aren't going to cut it, and that's why we have the score that we have in this game right now.
Yeah, Oak Park, the penalties have been piling up for them. That's something that without a preseason you didn't really have time to prepare, like we mentioned earlier. So looking to just find ways to get their offense going. They'll have to talk that over at the halftime break to make some adjustments. Now Boone is going to kick this one off. It's a good kick on at that time. At about the 42, that one is going to be picked up by Tatum. He gets out past midfield into Oak Park territory. Looks like he's down at the 46. At West Bloomfield coming out once again with 3:24 to go in the half.
Yeah, you know they'd like to score one more time before the end of the half, just to put a little of bit of an exclamation mark on the first half for them. But they're well into the driver's seat in this one. So you may start to even see some different guys get some touches here. We even saw it on the last possession a little bit. Start seeing some different guys get a few more touches here and there, which is something that's really nice to be able to do, especially in a season like this where you didn't have that time before the season to get different guys some looks and touches and see the development of some of your younger players.
Splits back formation here. And Short throws it off to Edwards. Scrambles through. He gets past the 40. And he gets inside. Here at about the 37. And Edwards.
Edwards is going to have to go off the field for a play after his helmet comes off. But there was an Oak Park player that was a little bit shaken up. That was Amari Harris. But he's walking, standing on the field. Looked like he motioned over to the sideline saying, I'm good, keep me in. Now he's going to go down. Looks like it's that right leg.
Official timeout due to injury on the field.
He was trying to stay on the field, but he just kind of looked over the sideline, and the sideline told him, hey, just get down. And he goes down there, and he's going to come off.
That's number 4, Amari Harris for Oak Park. It's been an important piece for them here today. Second down here for the Lakers. And it looks like movement by the Knights. Offsides, it's going to be called.
5-yard penalty.
They jump before the snap.
The penalty results in a first down.
And it's going to be a first down for West Bloomfield. Second and 2, and couldn't have an opportunity. We're trying to blitz there, but you jumped before the snap.
Got to keep your eyes on the ball. It sounds so fundamental, really, because it is, but right there, you don't do it and it ends up costing you.
Got 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Short, throwing to the left side. Edwards grabs it, and he drops it, and looks like it's going to be pass interference.
Yeah, but that might be, it might be pass interference. Edwards was being held onto, the jersey was being pulled. That was Emmanuel Hall, who was celebrating after the stop, but I don't think he saw the flag come out until late. And that's going to, I would assume, be a pass interference on him and Oak Park.
It's going to be looks like it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. It's not like in the NFL where the ball is placed at the spot of the foul.
For the Lakers, first down and 10 at the 22-yard line.
It would have been at the 1, but it's going to be an automatic first down at the 21-yard line.
As the penalties just continue to pile on for Oak Park.
Edwards in the back. Short's going to keep it again. He gets brought down on that play by Dion Burkett and Eric Allison.
Yeah, nowhere for Short to really go there. Caught it off the high snap and looked like he just kind of froze for a second trying to read where he wanted to go, and didn't really take a huge burst up the middle, just kind of went in and was wrapped up rather quickly and brought down.
Approaching the final minute of this first half, a 25-0 advantage for the Lakers over the Knights here in week 1 of this high school football season. Also an Oakland Activities Association Red Division matchup. Oak Park making their OAA Red debut. So second down here. Short going to throw it over to the left. Into the end zone, and it's going to be caught for a touchdown by Emmanuel Mitchell.
That was an on-the-spot throw by Short. Mitchell had some space, brought the ball in. Real nice job by West Bloomfield, who had shown early on in the game that they were able to run the ball and are now putting on Nice little passing clinic here on this possession here to score. A great job by them, and Short continues to have a really nice performance both now on the ground and in the air.
It's been very stellar so far. Scored on the second play of the game. One rushing and one passing touchdown.
Lakers will attempt the extra point.
With 40 seconds to go. Extra point is up and through. It's a 32-0 lead now for the Lakers. And the Lakers are going to be a fun team to watch over the course of the season.
Well, no doubt about it, Alex. And, you look at what they're going to go up against the rest of the way. They'll have, definitely some good matchups to watch this year. But this has been just a great performance for them. And you're going to go into halftime very happy with how you've played. And, you look at their schedule, obviously a big game is going to be Clarkston, another really good program. But before they see Clarkston, they're going to play Southfield Arts and Tech. So, it doesn't appear on paper to be a very tough schedule, but there's some, should be some good games on the schedule for them in the coming weeks. And, obviously it'll be real fun in the playoffs as you expect this West Bloomfield team to be a real contender.
They're showing it right now, and with
Back to receive the kick for the
only a week and a half to prepare, and every team has been scrambling to get to this point, learning the offense, learning the defense in a short amount of time. But for West Bloomfield, it's been everything going well for them. This one's going to be caught at about the 2-yard line here, picked up by Miller. And Miller gets swarmed down at about the 16. 34 seconds left. Oak Park does get the ball first to begin the second half. Going to be interesting to see what they do here. Down 32-0.
Yeah, they have a decision to make here if they want to try to get any points this half, if they're going to try to make a couple plays. Obviously not a lot of time to do so, or if they're just going to take a knee, let the clock run out. We'll see. But again, they do get the ball to start the second half, so they'll take any sort of momentum they can build here. Even if you get a couple nice runs, you complete a pass, just something positive to go into the locker room and say, look, we made a lot of mistakes, committed a lot of penalties, didn't do as good as we needed to do. Let's build off that last possession. Let's build off that last play. Find something positive, bring it into the locker room, and try to change going into the second half.
Getting his first touch of the game is junior running back Jalen Stevens. With 22 seconds left, we'll see what they do here. They don't have to run a play.
And they don't look like they're going to. They're going to let this clock run out. They're going to go into the locker room with a lot of work to do. A lot of changes are going to need to be made for them to, try to turn things around in the second half. And, if you're Coach Bellamy and the Lakers, you're going to go into the locker room and say, look, hey, we've done a lot of good things ourselves, and we're up big in this game. We still have things that we need to improve on. We've had a couple bad penalties, a couple mistakes that we're not going to be able to afford to make later on in the season and in the playoffs. So, a game so far but it's been a feel-out process. It's been a learning process, adapting to this new 2020 season.
Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. So that's going to do it for the first half of game one of the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. It's a 32-0 lead for the West Bloomfield Lakers over the Knights of Oak Park. Looking forward to an exciting second half. West Bloomfield has done really well. Alex Short and Donovan Edwards have been leading the way, and we're going to be in for an exciting second half.
Yeah, Edwards obviously hit a dominant first half, and you wouldn't expect anything less from one of the top players in the nation and a top player in the state. He's come out and he's run the ball with great effort, with great energy, and they've given a guy like Tatum a couple looks, and he's had success. And then obviously Short, who has really, caught some eyes this game, he's not a guy that's going to show up, and a ton as much as a guy like Edwards or a guy like Tatum on the scouting report, but he's shown obviously early in the game that he could run the ball, and late here in the second quarter he showed that he could throw the ball as well on that nice touchdown pass on the left side of the end zone. So he's a guy that has played really well in this game too. And I think, while we're talking about the offensive side, you got to talk about the offensive line for the Lakers that has done a really good job protecting Shore, creating gaps for him and for Edwards to run through. And that whole offense has done a really nice job. But again, the defense deserves just as much praise for the job they've done getting through that offensive line for the Knights. And the secondary, obviously, with that interception on Oak Park, tried to go down the field on a deep ball. So it's been a really, complete performance, which you like when you're able to win and maybe your offense has a spectacular game or your defense pitches a shutout. But when you have an all-around performance or on both sides of the ball, you're firing on all cylinders. That's when, as a coaching staff, as a program, you can say, look, we're doing things right. And when you look at the situation that West Bloomfield, just like all the teams in the state are in, where they just got to put on pads, a couple weeks ago, and they just found out that they were playing football in the fall a couple weeks ago after being told there wasn't going to be fall football and that was maybe, hopefully going to be spring football. For them to go through all that, come out here and be up 32-0 at half against what is routinely a very good team in Oak Park, nothing but pride if you're Coach Bellamy and the West Bloomfield Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 32-0 in favor of the Lakers over the Knights here, as we're looking for a good second half. We're going to step aside for just a second. When we come back, second half action will be underway between the Lakers and the Knights. We'll be back right here on the Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Oak Park High School here. It is a 32-0 lead for the West Bloomfield Lakers over the Oak Park Knights here. Alex Johnson alongside Aaron Johnson with you. And Aaron has been all West Bloomfield so far, but there's still another half of football to play. We're hoping Oak Park can make some noise here in the second half.
Yeah, well, Alex, they're over there in the huddle making noise. They sound, animated. They want to turn things around. This is not where they want to be. I think we need to make that very clear. Oak Park didn't come into this game and say, hey, we're going to go down 32-0 in the first half, and that's going to be okay. They're over there in that locker room at halftime, and they're mad. They don't want to be in that position. So they're going to come out here, and I would expect them to come out with some fire, with some fury. They do not want to be on the field and have not scored a touchdown, be down by 30 points. This is not what they expected out of themselves. So they got to come out in this second half, and they got to change what they did in the first half and bounce back here in half number 2.
So the Knights will get the ball first to begin the second half. As we mentioned. So Ward is going to kick this one off. Back over to Bawana Miller, who's inside the 5. Going to boot this one into the end zone for a touchback. And we'll see what the Knights do here to begin the second half. This broadcast is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press, your flagship destination for sports in Michigan. The Free Press has launched a new digital subscription model, which gives you high school sports fans exclusive access to Mick McCabe's weekly columns, rankings, and predictions. Your support will help the Free Press stream high school football games all season long. And today, it only costs $1 for 3 months. Again, that's $1 for 3 months. Subscribe today at freep.com.
So now we see that Oak Park offense unable to produce a single point in the first half. We'll see if things have changed for them. Maybe they've made some adjustments and the offensive line is going to be able to block a little bit better as they overload on one side with 3 wideouts. Over on to the right.
Here comes Bunley to start. He's going to hand it off to Prim. Prim trying to make some space for himself. A flag on the first play of the second half. You saw Prim give an arm to one of the defenders on the right side. We'll see what the call is. And it's going to be holding on the Knights.
Well, penalties were a problem for Oak Park in the first half, and if it's going to continue to be a problem for them in the second half, they're just really not going to have a chance to break out of this funk that they've been in to start their 2020 campaign.
It's going to be first down again, but a long way to go. 1st and 20.
And that's something with penalties that they not only need to fix for today, but they need to fix that for the rest of their season. At this point, is there a high chance, a high probability that they're going to come back in this game? No. But learning what they need to be doing to not get these kind of penalties, those are things that are going to haunt you throughout your entire season if you don't squash them now.
Yeah, they got a very tough schedule ahead of them. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. As Prim again on 1st and long. It has not been easy for him in the backfield.
You know, he hasn't had time to get things going, and if I'm Oak Park, I'd like to be able to throw the ball a little bit more to try to create some space and maybe get something going with the offense, but the line hasn't done a good enough job providing James Bunley with time to make a throw, so they're in a very tough position because you're not going to get positive yards handing it off to the running back who's going to immediately be met by the big defensive line of West Bloomfield, and if you keep it with the quarterback, he's not going to have a lot of time to make a decision when he's got 4 linemen chasing after him.
Bunley throws it too high, incomplete to James Blaylock.
Yeah, and Blaylock there, he had a chance to catch that ball, but he didn't give up on it, but I feel like he could have ran for it a little bit harder. It wasn't too far out of reach. And, you know, if you are Oak Park, Bunley kind of did what he had to do there, just getting rid of the football, put it as much on target as he could for the timing that he had and the space that he was operating under. You got to come up with that ball, plain and simple.
So it's 3rd down and long for the Knights, going right to left. Bunley gets out of it, scrambles, has some space, has an open. He's at the 20. He's trying to move around, still going. He runs out of bounds near the 27. He almost was going to get sacked in the end zone. That would have been another safety for the Lakers.
Yeah, the Knights did just a good enough job getting that defensive line of the Lakers to collapse, and Bunley able to go through the middle and gain some positive yards. Not able to get a first down, unfortunately, if you're the Knights, but get some positive yards, 15 yards. They haven't had a play like that many times, if at all, tonight.
They're going to say he stepped out of bounds a little bit before the 27. They're going to mark him 3 yards back at the 24. So it's going to be 4th down. And they're going to decide to punt this one away. Boone scrambles for it. They're going to try to run this one out. He gets through, and he's going to be short of the first down. So the Knights will turn it over on downs.
Yeah, a poor snap that bounced off the ground a couple of times, and not a lot of time for the Knights to get rid of that. And that's why we saw Boone just do what he had to do, where he picked up the ball and tried to get as forward as he could before being brought down. And now West Bloomfield going to start off the second half, their first offensive possession, with great field position. The ball on the 25-yard line of Oak Park.
Short to his left side. That one is going to be caught there on that play. On the Lakers right there. That was Makai Elam on the reception.
Pick up 9 on the play. 2nd down and 1.
2nd and 1 coming up for the Lakers. Looks like they're in the I formation now. Edwards moving out. Elam moves it up the middle. Gets a first down out of it. And this West Bloomfield offense has been moving along very smoothly.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line.
They're able to get good field position on almost every possession they've had, starting inside Oak Park territory. Short in the back. Decide to throw it out. That pass is going to be caught by DJ Herring. Looked like the slant route that time.
in short has come back into this game after getting shaken up late in the second quarter. And he has shown that he can really throw the ball, which is something that West Bloomfield wasn't doing at the beginning of this game.
The run that time on the play.
Yeah, Edwards tried to go up the middle, was only able to get a couple of yards, but if you're West Bloomfield, all you're doing is inching closer and closer and closer to that end zone. It's a well-oiled machine right now.
9 minutes to go here, 32-0 lead. Edwards pulling it up again, plowing it through into the end zone. Touchdown, Lakers.
I don't think you could have described it any better than Edwards plowing through. That's literally what he just did. He ran through that defense of Oak Park. They were not wrapping him up. They were not stopping him. Quite frankly, Edwards was just going to run through them.
That's his third TD of the game, and this is why he's one of the top running backs in the country right now.
Well, there's no doubt this is why he's being courted by the Alabamas, the LSU, the Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State. All these top schools, not around the state, not in the Big Ten, all around the country. SEC, Big Ten, wherever. They're all going after this type of player. Edwards has just been absolutely dominant.
Ward getting ready to kick the extra point. Gets another one to go through after missing his first one. And it's a 39-0 advantage with 8:56 to go here in this third quarter.
Oak Park, 0.
And a couple of score updates for you from around the Metro Detroit area and around the state. A lot of big games going around here in week one. Macomb Dakota 6-0 lead over Chippewa Valley. That's at the end of the first quarter. Getting ready to start the second over there in Clinton Township.
Always an absolutely big game over there, which would usually be at capacity stadium between two teams, obviously in the Macomb area, that are two of the biggest schools in the area. And that's always just a rowdy, incredibly good game. And obviously Dakota beating Chippewa last year in the playoffs after Chippewa went undefeated in the regular season. That's a very big game that, again, under normal circumstances would just be packed to the brim in front of a awesome crowd on a nice Friday night.
Now Ward is going to kick this one off again. And Miller's back to return it. This one is going to go into the end zone. Another touchback. So they'll start at the 20.
First down and 10. Knights at the 20-yard line.
Another Macomb Area Conference Red contest over in Sterling Heights. Utica Eisenhower and Sterling Heights Stevenson. Eisenhower 3-0 in that game. Sterling Heights Stevenson was a surprise team last year, making it all the way to the Final Four before losing to the eventual state champion Davison.
Davison, always another incredible program year in and year out.
Well, star set at quarterback and Brendan Sullivan, who committed to Northwestern.
One thing that the state of Michigan is absolutely blessed with is some incredible high school football, filled with incredible athletes. You see Michigan has sent so many players to the next level at big-time schools. There's never a shortage of great games week in and week out.
Prim's going to get his first reception since early in the first half. He gets brought down the line of scrimmage.
No gain on the play.
On the play, Kyle Johnson picked him up and
Have a injury timeout on the field.
another injury on the field.
And before this injury timeout, before the possession started for Oak Park, the referees did signal for the clock to start running. So it has been running. It's now 39-0 in favor of West Bloomfield. So with a running clock, you'll start to see this game go by a little bit quicker here.
Corey Alford is down on the ground here for the Knights, and take a look at what they have coming up as they're now playing in the OAA Red this year. Got a lot of tough games for them moving forward. This is not going to be an easy road for them coming through. They'll be at Lake Orion next week, out in Lake Orion. Lake Orion canceling their football game tonight, as some schools around the area with COVID-19 going around. When there's been an outbreak, they can decide to cancel games as a precaution.
Yeah, it's unfortunate if you're Lake Orion and you have to do that, but honestly, you want to protect your players and your coaches, your entire program. But assuming that game takes place next week, that'll be it should be a good game. And if you're Oak Park, you're going to need to turn some things around as a team, to fix some things to where you come out and the offense looks a little bit better. And I think each week just being able to practice is going to mean so much to teams this year, more so than in previous years, because you just didn't have the time or the ability for inter-squads and 7-on-7 and a summer full of workouts and practices. You just didn't really have that. So even just on a week-by-week basis, I think we're going to see really all teams around the state improve as they have the opportunity and time to learn the offense, learn the defense, get better as a team, build chemistry, all that kind of stuff.
And we kind of saw that in the NFL when they canceled their entire preseason, and we saw that with week 1 as Prim up the middle that time, as the Lakers have just, every time he has the ball, they just block his path, not allow him to go through, not allow any openings, like we said.
Yeah, you look at that defensive line for West Bloomfield, and they've just done such a spectacular job getting to the ball. Guys like Jaden Green, Nolan Bembus, Evan Bunch. All those guys have done a nice job really getting to the ball and not giving time for the Oak Park offense to get anything going.
Penalty flag on the play.
And it's going to be a false start for Oak Park. 6:29 to go here in this third quarter. 39-0 lead for West Bloomfield. And like we mentioned earlier, we talked about COVID-19 protocols that games taking place to make it a safe environment for the players, coaches, and the fans here at the stadium. Limited fans, everyone wearing masks, from players on the sidelines to the coaches.
3rd and 12 at the 18-yard line.
Everyone practicing social distancing. And then, like we mentioned earlier, teams can decide to cancel games for precaution, as Bunley's pass is incomplete to Prim.
Yeah, that was broken up by Travis Reese, but it almost got through, and if it would have gotten through, there would have been a nice opportunity for Oak Park to finally get out of their own territory a little bit, maybe tread closer to the midline. But Reese able to just get his hands up, and that's why, you always hear coaches saying, hands up, get your hands up, try to deflect passes, don't just watch it go by. And right there is just living proof of why you do that. Keep your hands up, get your hands up, swat at the ball.
So Boone is going to punt this one away here once again. We got DJ Pryor as well as Jay Fouché in the back. The kick, that one went off the helmet of one of the Knights. That was Charles Gillespie. The junior defensive back.
So they're going to mark it at the 45 of Oak Park. It took a nice bounce, so if the refs, didn't call it there, as it took a nice bounce off the helmet of one of the Knights, would have been better for them. But again, we're going to see West Bloomfield take over on Oak Park's side. And it's been just a constant in this one tonight. And you start off with such great field position, it's just a lot easier for you to score the ball.
Yeah, they really haven't had to work from their own side of the field. I don't think at all. I don't think we've seen them in their own side of the field. As here comes on this play by the Lakers. That time it was Malik Mathia. He had a couple of touches earlier in the game. Gets another one here. Something else I want to mention about this season, that every team is going to be able to make the playoffs, regardless of how many wins and how many games they play. So that's going to be another key factor into this season. Everyone making the playoffs as well. As teams will be ranked based on the strength of schedule. That was what was supposed to be in place. So teams getting rewarded based on their strength of schedule. As Mathia up again, runs it up the middle, gets through a couple of tackles before he gets brought down by Gillespie at the 30-yard line.
And that'll benefit teams like an Oak Park, who's maybe going to start out slower as they try to work in some new players and are just seemingly having a little bit of a tougher time getting it going to start the year. That's going to benefit them as they're going to be able to perform in the postseason, have an opportunity that maybe they wouldn't have if they didn't accept all teams.
Yeah, that's something that in previous years you had to have 6 wins to qualify to get an automatic bid for the playoffs. 5 wins to be in consideration. But there were a lot of teams that were better than what their record showed. As Mathia again on the play. And we got another Oak Park night down. This time it's Marlon Dawson. With 2:15 to go here in this third quarter. Dawson, a senior linebacker on this Oak Park team, has committed to Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, he's a 3-star recruit, 36th ranked player in Michigan according to 247 Sports. Had 10 sacks and 20 tackles for loss last season, following a 2018 campaign that saw him come away with 12 sacks and 4 fumble recoveries.
He's down on the ground. Oak Park also has a lot of other key players, as well as our offensive line, Rashawn Benny. He's their senior offensive lineman. He's ranked 6th in the state by 247 Sports. A lot of many Division I offers as well. It's just another guy that they look out for.
Yeah, and what's tough is, he hasn't been able to play in this game. He's out for the Knights, and if he was able to play, that would really benefit them. Obviously, their offensive line has struggled tonight, so having his presence would have, really been huge. So missing him certainly has played a factor in this game for Oak Park, as you can see him on the sideline, donning that number 55 jersey. It's his left leg that's in a boot.
Still on the ground here with 2:15 to go. He comes up on the field. Another score update from the OAA Red. Other huge games, Southfield A&T and Clarkston. Southfield A&T up 10-7 heading into the second quarter.
Certainly a game that you would want to keep your eyes on if you're interested in MHSAA football. 2 very good teams are playing right now.
Down there on that play was Elam on that play on that left side. And it's going to bring up a first down as he got it to the left side. Clock continuing to run at 1:41 to go here in this third quarter. 39-0 lead for West Bloomfield over Oak Park.
Elam, another guy getting touches, class of 2021. But it's nice to be able to get different guys, different touches at different points in the game. he's shown he can run the ball.
Elam going to be dropped to the backfield. What a nice tackle on the play by Amari Harris, as well as the senior defensive back, number 18, Caleb Bryan.
Yeah, Harris was able to break through the offensive line for the Lakers and did a nice job getting to Elam. Now he has to come off the field. Harris does. He's a little bit shaken up. Looks like that was he might have hurt his right foot. But a good job by him on that last play. Finally, someone able to apply some pressure in the backfield for the Knights.
Also 8 yards on the play. Brings up second down.
Second down and 18. Short. Hands it back over here now. This time on the right side, breaking through a couple of tackles at the 10-yard line. That's the junior running back Marcus Carter getting his first touch of the game. He breaks out through.
Yeah, we haven't seen Edwards or Tatum getting carries here really in this second half. Edwards got a little bit of action earlier in the third, but he's been off the field for this whole possession. As some different guys just get different touches, and it's really nice as a coach to be able to do that.
Last play of the third, Carter has almost lost it. Still on his feet before he gets brought down by junior Joshua Flake. That's number 12 on the play. And the third quarter will come to an end. It's been all West Bloomfield here so far, 39-0, as we head into the final quarter of play.
Yeah, and it's a play like that where West Bloomfield finally makes a mistake as he's fumbling with the ball after getting it on the handoff, and he still has time to collect it and gain positive yards. If you're Oak Park, you got to recognize there's an opportunity to get to him in the backfield for a loss of yards. Maybe he still doesn't have possession of the ball. You're able to knock it free and gain possession.
So both teams will switch sides. So headed to this final quarter of play. Alex Short, Donovan Edwards, Dylan Tatum, and it's been a whole team effort for the Lakers. We've said this multiple times throughout the game. Oak Park, this was not the start they wanted to look for here heading into this season.
This is a game that they're going to want to quickly forget and improve on, which for this kind of program, under Coach Carter is very, very doable. They've had a lot of success in these recent years, so you would expect that they're going to turn things around. They get a couple guys back on the field, including Benny, who would really make a difference on that offensive line, would open up some space and some opportunity for some of the offense of the Knights. Guys just haven't had space or time to get things going, whether it's Davion Prim, or it's James Bunley. There just hasn't been time for them to really get any space to get positive yards. So you get a guy like Benny back, and he's going to provide you with opportunities to get positive yards and to really get an offense moving that did not really move today.
And that was Mathea on the play. He gets brought down in the backfield, and it's going to bring up. It was a turnover on downs. It was fourth down. They decided not to go for the field goal. So Oak Park is going to come back out here. Once again, this broadcast is brought to you by the Detroit Free Press, your flagship destination for sports in Michigan. The Free Press has launched a new digital subscription model, which gives high school sports fans exclusive access to Mick McCabe's weekly columns, rankings, and predictions. Your support will help the Free Press stream high school football games all season long. And today it only costs $1 for 3 months. Again, that's $1 for 3 months. Subscribe today at freep.com. We're going to be at another exciting game tomorrow in downtown Detroit between Detroit King and Cass Tech. It'll be at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon.
Two top programs in the state squaring off. It's going to just be an absolutely competitive game filled with a ton of next-level athletes.
It's going to be game 2 for Detroit Free Press Game of the Week. Detroit King took care of business over Cass Tech last season, 47-7. Cass Tech started out the season slow, but were able to make it to the regional finals, coming in as in the playoffs with a 5-4 record.
That postseason magic, I think that's what this season is setting up for. With all these teams able to get into the playoffs, it's setting up for some of these teams that maybe didn't have a great regular season to get things going towards the end of the regular season and take that into the playoffs and maybe pull off a couple upsets.
That one is caught there by Miller, by Bunley.
Pass is complete. Miller on the reception.
And clock continuing to run, 9:42. It's third down at the 17-yard line, 3rd and 3 coming up.
Pick up 7 on the play.
Other big game also happening tomorrow, a few miles from Casack and Wayne State. Brother Rice and De La Salle and Catholic League Central play. Had a lot of good games last night. Many games around tonight. And we're looking forward to some more tomorrow, as Bunley almost was going to get sacked on the play. A lot of pressure coming on that time on the play. Jordan Haskins.
Yeah, good job by Bunley just to get rid of the ball there so he wasn't sacked inside the 10 for, a big loss. Smart of him just to get rid of it.
So 4th down coming up here for Oak Park. And Boone is going to come out here to punt it away. 8.5 to go in this final quarter of play.
Fouché back to return the punt for the Lakers.
Fouché is back. Came out on the last punt. As Boone, a little bit short down the right side, going to stay inbounds at midfield. It's going to move up a little bit more, closer into Oak Park territory at the 48, and that's where West Bloomfield is going to take over in opposing field. West Bloomfield will host Southfield A&T next week, and then make a matchup in Clarkston 2 weeks from now. That will be on the road for them. A timeout taken by Oak Park with 7:18 to go.
Yeah, first time out of the second half.
So the clock will stop here. And again, it looks like we're going to see some different players get on the field here for West Bloomfield. But this has just been an absolutely dominant performance for them. And they've got to be really happy with how they played today.
Yeah, it's been a full team effort on offense and defense. They got a good start to the game, scoring on play number 2 of Alex Short after the huge run by Dylan Tatum to start the game. And I always want to have that, and I want to start on a high note. You don't want to come out slow. But West Bloomfield just got onto it when this game began.
Yeah, Oak Park never was able to get anything going, and that's because of what the defense did for West Bloomfield. We've talked a lot about what the offense has produced for the Lakers in this one, but we should really highlight that the defense never let Oak Park even have a chance. Oak Park has been playing from inside their own 20 on the offensive end the entire game. They haven't been able to get into West Bloomfield's territory, let alone West Bloomfield's red zone. So this has just been a very sound, complete defensive performance where they have never stopped applying pressure in the backfield, and they've done a great job forcing a loss of yards. And the one time that Oak Park went deep with the ball, West Bloomfield picked them off. So that defense deserves a lot of credit for this win here today.
You got to give Coach Bellamy a lot of credit to that. As Thomas Balazovic, the QB in for West Bloomfield, throws a pass over to his right side to DJ Herring, junior wide receiver. That's number 19. 6:25 to go.
Pick up 6 on the play. Will bring up 3rd down.
Balazovic looking things over, getting some experience.
23-yard line.
As he hands it off here to Mathea. Mathea gets past the 40 before he gets brought down on the play. Looked like that was Joshua Flake on that time.
Mathea's shown some nice stuff here in the second half. You know, looks like he's about 3rd in the pecking order right now in backfield touches after Edwards and Tatum, but he runs hard, and he's trying to run through the defense, whether they're wrapping him up or not. He's trying to run through you, so I've been impressed with him in this one as well here in the second half. As he's just a guy that's gotten some touches after a big lead, and he's impressed.
Carter gets it this time. He gets tripped up at the 30-yard line by Boone. It's another running back on this team, so they have a lot of depth in that position in the running back slot with Carter in there as well. So they got about 4 or 5 running backs that can really contribute. It'd be a good supporting cast to Edwards and Tatum. Mathea, he's trying to get over to the right side. Gets inside the 20. Looked like he was brought down by Emmanuel Hall as we're 4.5 to go.
About 8 yards on the play. 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line.
1st and 10 at the 22. Balzovic's going to throw to Mathea. Ball's babbled around. Incomplete. And let's see. Was it a backwards pass? Is that what they're calling? Looked like on the play, picked up that time Amari Harris. And they're going to call it a fumble recovered by Harris, as they're going to say it's a backwards pass because that ball's live.
I wasn't expecting that, but it's really the first true mistake by West Bloomfield in this game. It's the first turnover they've had, at least.
That's what they called it. Harris was like, they thought they called it incomplete.
That's what it looked like. I mean, from our point of view, it didn't look like he was behind him, but maybe he was. I mean, obviously that's what the ref saw. But to me, that just looked like a regular standard incomplete pass.
3:13 to go here in this ball game. West Bloomfield has been dominant here today. Going to bring this up the middle this time. We're getting pushed down on the play. Well, it looked like that was Jalen Stevens on that play. Again, make sure to tune in to us tomorrow. We'll be out at Cass Tech as Cass Tech welcomes in Detroit King for a huge matchup in Detroit Public School League play. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. You don't want to miss that. Is in the backfield that time was Stevens again. 2:10 to go in this one. See, kind of like the 4-3. Out on for West Bloomfield. They've been doing that for most of the game.
Yeah, they're taking their time here. They're not trying to rush anything. They're taking these last few plays, this last possession, just to get some different guys some touches.
Bunley gets shoved out of bounds.
Bunley on the keeper.
On that play, looked like that time was Mosiah Span.
Play results in an Oak Park first down.
He gets a first down out of it.
And Oak Park hasn't had a lot of those in this one, so for them to get that first down, they'll be happy with that, and it'll take it as they try to build some momentum. And the next week they're going to, again, try to take any positives that they can from this game, but they're certainly going to have to look at some of the mistakes that they've made in this one. Certainly they amassed way too many penalties. They've got some stuff to clean up as they, look to get healthy, and they have a tough regular season schedule ahead, Alex, as we looked at.
Yeah, like you mentioned, another big game for them coming up. They go to Lake Orion next week, and then out in Oxford 2 weeks from now. And Southfield A&T on October 9th here at home, and then Birmingham Groves from the OAA White. That's a crossover game. That'll be here. And then they'll go out to Clarkson to close out the regular season. That'll be the final play of the game. Boone on the run, gets to the 40 before he gets pushed down on the play by a swarm of Lakers. And it looks like that is going to do it here tonight. A 39-0 victory for the West Bloomfield Lakers over the Oak Park Knights. And the Lakers will start off the season 1-0.
Yeah, great performance through and through for the Lakers. As we've already said a couple times here tonight, you have to look at what the offense has done. It was started with Alex Short and Edwards in the backfield. You had Dylan Tatum as well with an early run to get things going for them. That set up that quick QB keeper for Short to score the first 6 of the game for West Bloomfield. But, they never let it up. They always kept their foot on the pedal, and the defense pitched a wonderful shutout where they looked very sound. Obviously, the line did a great job, and when the secondary was needed, they came up with an interception. So a great first game for West Bloomfield as they get a nice start to the 2020 campaign.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns by Donovan Edwards for him today. A rushing touchdown and and 2 passing touchdowns for Alex Short in this one. And we're looking forward to West Bloomfield to be one of the front runners and contenders for the Division I state championship this year.
No doubt about it, Alex. This is a team that clearly looks good enough to compete, and we're going to get a look, and all of our viewers are going to get a look at throughout the year a lot of different teams that could be competing for a state championship in just a short few months. So this is certainly an impressive performance, and everyone should have their eyes on West Bloomfield after their routing of Oak Park tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an exciting year of high school football. So that's going to do it for us here tonight here at Oak Park High School. The final score here on our Detroit Free Press Game of the Week, West Bloomfield 39 and Oak Park 0. On behalf of everyone here at the Detroit Free Press, on behalf of my partner Aaron Johnson, I'm Alex Johnson. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's Game of the Week, and we'll see you out in downtown Detroit tomorrow at Cass Tech as Cass Tech plays Detroit King in a PSL matchup. Good night, everyone, from Oak Park.